Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. How's Eddie Frederick?
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Tuesday, 3rd June 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. The much-anticipated Vybz Kartel performance in Trinidad and Tobago resulted in a no-show. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family, yes we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. The One Caribbean Music Festival began in controversy, and so it ended. The show went on, but there was no Vybz Kartel, leaving scores of dissatisfied patrons in Trinidad and Tobago. Stacey and Providence of TTT News has more.
So I apologize to the Trinidad people. You got the government of Trinidad, and I blame myself in some way because I should have known, say, and every promoter can manage Vybz Kartel. It takes a lot.
The apology from Adidja Palmer, Vybz Kartel, just after midnight on social media. Around the time the first live performance at the One Caribbean Music Festival 2025 is said to have taken the stage at the Queen's Park Savannah. Mere hours before the show, which was carded to start at 9 p.m., Vybz Kartel announced that he would not be performing due to the non-fulfillment of contractual obligations by the event promoter. He sought to explain why in his video post.
You miss deadline after deadline. Me beg for you, Mr. TJ, give my blind. You bring me now in a loggerheads with the government of Trinidad. Me never tell you someone do no school. My job is to perform for the people. Me's an entertainer. Me get paid to entertain. Remember, you wanted to keep the show during Carnival. Me look for you, me say you can't do that. Don't mess with the culture. Carnival, Trinidad thing, make them do them thing. TJ tell if you don't do it. Angostura tell if you don't do it. Cartel tell if you don't do it. Countless people tell if you don't do it. You force the issue till eventually you see say it can't work. So now you did want to bring me at loggerheads with the culture of Trinidad. Deadline after deadline, crying after crying. You just couldn't manage a cartel show, and that you need to tell the people then. In a discussion.
In a release on Saturday, some hours after the announcement by the Vybz Kartel management team, promoter Jacko Entertainment apologized to fans but said the show will go on with the other artists on the bill. Sharing insight into the arrangement with the artist, Jacko Entertainment said Vybz Kartel was formally contracted to perform at OCMF 2025 for a total sum of $1.35 million. The promoter said to date, $950,000 was paid directly to the artist, while an additional $150,000 was disbursed to his legal representative. It said the remaining balance due was made available in full. However, due to legal and financial regulations in Trinidad and Tobago, the organizers were unable to disburse the final amount in cash. By showtime, two other top-billed performers, Ghanaian-American singer Molly and Jamaican reggae artist Sizzla Kalonji, pulled out of the festival, citing financial issues and failure of the promoter to meet key contractual obligations. Stacey Ann Providence, TTT News.
In the meantime, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar reveals that Watson Duke, the former PSA head, asked her for a job, which her administration is considering. Details ahead.
Watson Duke from the PDP would have said that he would have sent a communication to you. Mm-hmm. That is what he would have said. And he would like to know, I'm assuming, based on what he would have said, his inclusion in the talks of the self-determination of Tobago. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you could confirm if you would have received that communication from Watson
Mr. Duke. If I were to be brutally honest,
sure.
Watson Duke did send me congratulations and every good word. He also asked me for a job. I'll be honest, I did get it. And certainly we are considering it.
In response to the Prime Minister's press conference held earlier today, I wish to state that I did write the Prime Minister, and the letter was sent via TT Post, trackback, and we expect the letter to be delivered to the office of the Prime Minister, which is in Whitehall, Port of Spain. Let's give it next week and she should receive the letter. The letter had to deal with Tobago's right to self-determination and not asking for autonomy. The contents of the letter, which I'll make public once she receives the letter, basically states that Tobagonians want to become involved in the decision-making process of their political status. Autonomy is one out of three positions when one looks at political status. You have independence, you have autonomy, and you have free association with a treaty. Those persons in Tobago wish to be informed about the merits and the demerits, the good and the bad of each point, and the type of economy that each political status is likely to be successful within Tobago. These are decisions for Tobago, and I thought it best that the Prime Minister be informed by myself as an assemblyman in the Tobago House of Assembly that we all need to participate in this decision, and it's not a decision of the Honorable Chief Secretary, Mr. Fadia Gusting, where he can take down to Trinidad a motion and a policy paper that no one has ever seen in the Assembly except him. We do not believe in cloak and dagger. We do not believe in deceit. Everything must be said plain before Tobagonians, and Tobagonians must make an informed decision as to their political status. That was the first point in response to the journalist's question to the Prime Minister. Yes, I have written to her. Maybe she has not received the letter as yet. Secondly, the Prime Minister would have rightfully said, I've asked for a job. I called her. I did congratulate her. And as I always do to any person who was the government, that I am available to work for and on behalf of the people of Tobago and Trinidad. I'm very much concerned about the livelihood of my people. I'm very much concerned about the policy that shapes the life of my people. And so in that regard, I made myself available. It's good for the Prime Minister to put it on the table. It's also good for her to consider it, because all persons of Trinidad and Tobago and Trinidad should make themselves available for the building up of their country. I thank you.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
St. Lucia's Cruise Port, the Ministry of Tourism and key stakeholders met on Friday to review the island's record-setting cruise season and plan for future growth. With over 723,000 cruise visitors in 2024, an 18% increase, officials are now focused on infrastructure upgrades as Global Ports Holdings mark 1 year managing the port. Zane Romulus of the DBS News World reports.
According to Lancelot Adol, General Manager of St. Lucia Cruise Port, the talks are crucial as the port moves forward with infrastructure upgrades aimed at enhancing the visitor experience and supporting continued growth in cruise tourism.
What we've been concerned with and concentrated on mostly was getting first of all, engaging with the stakeholders and getting our designs in place that it will attend to their needs. Because what we did not want was to just implement something and force people to attend to it. So it had to be a collaborative approach. So we've gotten that. We've gotten to the point of construction. Hopefully we'll start in June, in terms of next month, which is week coming. And as well, even today, some of the feedback from the stakeholders has been very encouraging in terms of our involvement, our ability to partner and listen to them. I think that's critical as we seek to improve the cruise industry in St. Lucia.
In 2024, St. Lucia recorded a historic 723,500 cruise arrivals, an 18% increase over the previous year and the highest in the island's history. Tourism Minister Dr. Ernest Hilaire emphasized the importance of ongoing discussions, noting that they are vital as the island prepares for an even busier cruise season ahead.
There are a lot of issues we need to respond to. Overcrowding on certain beaches, how do we deal with it, which is what we're discussing now. Visitor and citizen safety is also a big issue for some of the areas that are frequented by our visitors. We need to make sure that our locals who go there are safe and secure, as well as the visitors. That's a critical issue for us. Vendors, we have done some training with vendors, and we're going to do some more training to make sure that our vendors deliver higher standards of service delivery.
Among the improvements planned by Global Ports Holding are upgrades to the berth at Point Seraphine to accommodate Oasis-class ships, enhancements to the vendors' arcade, and the construction of new tender jetties. Additionally, the introduction of ferry services is expected to facilitate the efficient transport of larger groups of passengers by sea. For the DBS News World, Zane Romulus reporting.
Edward Seaga's impact on Jamaica's cultural and political landscape continues to live on years after his passing. On the 95th anniversary of his birth, national leaders gathered to honor the man that they say shaped the nation's destiny. Shantae McNeil of CVM News has more.
The late former Prime Minister Edward Seaga was remembered Tuesday for a legacy built on action and unwavering service to Jamaica's development. During a floral tribute at National Heroes Park, marking what would have been his 95th birthday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness reflected on Seaga's vision, saying without his leadership, Jamaica could have taken a path the nation would live to regret. The reality of this, he says, need to be taught, especially to the younger generation.
We need to properly put that era into context and put Mr. Seaga's contribution into context so that the generations coming can have a better understanding of what truly took place. And it is very important because there is a concerted effort of revisionism to try and write history in the way it did not happen, otherwise called propaganda.
Describing Seaga as a bridge between eras and disciplines, Holness emphasized the urgent need to continue his legacy of purpose and progress.
As we lay this floral tribute today, we do so not in mourning, but in affirmation of a life that continues to shape our own, of a legacy that calls us to build on what he began. And the best way to honor Mr. Seaga is to carry his work forward, to protect our institutions, to invest in our people, and to dream with our eyes open.
Culture Minister Olivia Grange also paid tribute, sharing a major cultural milestone. Following the recent United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO recognition of the Wat Town Revival Pilgrimage, she announced Port Royal has now been inscribed on the World Heritage List.
I've received the good news from the World Heritage Center that the evaluation team has recommended that our nomination of Port Royal should be accepted for inscription on the World Heritage List in July of this year. Based on this recommendation, we are very confident that the archaeological landscape of the 17th century Port Royal, Jamaica, will become a World Heritage Site. And this has been the dream of the most honorable Edward Philip George Seaga.
Shantae McNeil, CVM News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.